नमस्सभायै अत्र समागतेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पादारविन्दयुगलं विनम्रतापूर्वकं प्रणित्वा इदानीं रामायणम् अधिकृत्य विशेषतः रामजननविषये एकं वा चत्वारि वार्ताः वक्तुम् इच्छामि। भक्तजनों, आज तो 4वां दिन है रामायण प्रवचन का हिंदू टेम्पल ऑफ लबक में। इस दिन तो परम पावन दिन है क्योंकि हम राम का अवतार का वर्णन करने का प्रयत्न करेंगे। राम कौन है? राम है शुद्ध ब्रह्म, पूर्णं ब्रह्म स्वयमिह विहाय अहिपर्यंकवर्यं गोरक्षार्थं वर रघुकुले वासुदेवो अवतीर्णः। मानव लोग तो पशु भी है। पूर्णम ब्रह्मा, द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड केम आउट ऑफ कंपैशन। पूर्णम ब्रह्म स्वयं यह विहाय अहिपर्यंक, अहि माने सांप, अहिपर्यंकवर्यं गोरक्षार्थं, for taking care of people. Panta iti pashuhu. We are also like cows, particularly in this Kali Yuga. Gorakshartam vara raghukule. In the most important Raghu dynasty, Vasudevaha avatirnaha. So the Lord is going to come, hopefully in an hour's time. Vara raghukule Vasudevo avatirnaha. Why did he come? There are 3 reasons. One, first, the simple and straightforward answer is Ravana Vadhartham, to kill Ravana. Ravana is the personification of Adharma. Second, to protect people like Jitu, Bhai Goyal and all the others. And people have come far and away, like Dr. Ramalingam, all the way from Tamil Nadu. So, पांता इति, टू टेक केयर ऑफ पीपल, पालन करने के लिए राम का अवतार। क्यों मानव जैसा अवतार करने का रीजन? व्हाट इज द रीजन दैट ही शुड कम एज मानव? दैट इज द श्रेष्ठता ऑफ रामायण। सो गोस्वामी तुलसीदास कहते हैं, रामचरित चिंतामणि चारु संत सुमति तीय सुभग सिंगारू। ये तो लाइक चिंतामणि, लाइक कल्प वृक्षा, चिंतन करने तो ही वो फल देता है। रामचरित चिंतामणि चारु, यंग प्लांट, चारु चरती। संत सुमति तीय सुभग सिंगारू, जगमंगल गुणग्राम राम के, धानी मुकुति धन धर्म धाम के। धानी मुकुति धन धर्म धाम के। It is because of dharma. He wanted to be a human being. That's the difference between him and Krishna. He wanted to be a human being and then show that even if you are human, by showing these sacrifices and fortitude of sacrifices and sufferings, one can protect dharma. Dhani mukuti dhana dharma dham ke. ये तो गोस्वामी तुलसीदास का मधुर वाणी है, शुद्ध वाणी. So, where was he born? So far we have studied 2 important characters of Rama. First and foremost is supreme moral characteristic, guna. Valmiki to only 16 characters, only षोडश गुना चर्च किए, परंतु नारद भगवान ने 64 times 4 गुण उसका नाम का स्मरण गुण के आधार पे किए, 64 to 72 times. Second is valor. Like a stool stands on 3 legs. It is the rudhyam. Don't ask me why stool doesn't have 4 legs. That's what the common sense is. That's rudhyam. There are only 3 legs for a stool. Likewise, Rama's character is built on 3. One, good supreme moral characters, charitrena yuktihi. Likewise. Second is his parakrama. Ramam Satya Parakramam. And third thing is what that attracts us most is Saundharya. So in the 4th and 5th sarga, Lava Kush गायन करते हैं। अश्वमेध महामंडप में Tantrilaya Samanvitam Sarvashruti Manoharam. So how did Rama get attracted towards Lava and Kusha? Looking that looks like these people are like Gandharvas, but their facial features are like Chakravarti. Although they dress like Muni Kumaras, but I don't believe that they are Muni Kumaras. So that Saundarya attracts. So Rama is known for his Saundarya. Raghava Shardhula Ramam Satya Parakramam. Vishwamitra says, Raghava Shardhula Ramam Satya Parakramam Kakapakshadaram Shuram Jeshtam Ramam. In one sentence, Valmiki covers all these three aspects. First, Raghava Shardhula is like a tiger in the Raghu dynasty. Raghava Shardhula Ramam. Second is Guna. Satya Parakramam. All these things go hand in hand with when we talk about Rama. It's not just his Guna, it's not just his valor, but it's Saundarya too. And the third thing he says, Kakapakshadharam Suram Jeshtam. Beautifully curly hairs. Kakapaksha is the space between the ears and the chin. That is known as Kakapaksham. So Rama takes time, like Krishna takes time to keep his peacock feather. Rama takes time to always curl his hair. That too, he wants it to hang all the way from his forehead into this place. That's Kakapakshadharam Shuram Jeshtam. So Valmiki is very particular to characterize Rama, including his divine beauty. So Rama mesmerizes people with divine beauty. So the divine beauty is what attracts Bhagavata in Kali Yuga to Brahman, to Supreme. So none other than, if we have to talk about the divine beauty of the Supreme, one has to go to read Sringara Kavya of Jayadeva Bhanita Sringara Kavya. So we all studied Bhagavatam. So Krishna is no different than Rama. So how did Radha get attracted towards Krishna? How did Krishna get attracted to Radha? It's a Madhuban. Madhuban mein Radha udar kadi rahi thi. So she was alone, Vilalapa. She was alone, suffering. There comes Krishna, yonder. Sa sadadvasa sanandam govinde lola lochana. Beautiful Sanskrit words of Jayadeva. Sa sadva sasananda govinde lola lochana. Sinjana manju manjiram pravivesha niveshanam radhe sa sadva sadarsha. So Radha sees Krishna yonder, his beauty. Sa sadva sanandam Krishna. Then the entire body of Radha takes a different shape and form. Radha vadana vilokana vikasita vivida vikara vibhangam. Jaladitya mandala tungatarangam sa ekarasam harim ekarasam. Radha vadana vilokana vikasita vivida vikara vibhangam harim ekarasam. Set in the rag Madhyamavati. That is a very auspicious rag. So when Bhakta Jano Supreme ko dekhta hai, they just get mesmerized. Rama iti Ramaha. Ramyate anena iti Ramaha. Ramaha ayate anena prapyate iti Ramaha. So Rama attracts us by his beauty. So he attracted Kausalya by his beauty. He attracted Dasaratha by his beauty. He attracted the entire Janapada of Ayodhya by beauty. So we now go into seeing how the story progresses. So Lava and Kusha starts singing Tantri Laya Samanvitam Samudhramiva Gambiryam Sarvasruti Manoharam Samudhramiva Ratnadhyam Sarvasruti So they sing in a perfect tune, set in a raga and a thal. So they start singing. Okay, there was a king by name Dasaratha. Kosaleo nama mudita spito janapado mahane nivishtaha sarayu tire prabhuta dhanadhanyavan. Actually, the description of Ayodhya, there was a kingdom called Kosala on Sarayu Tire, Uttaratate, on the northern banks of Sarayu river. There was a very prosperous country. Kosalo nama mudita sputito, that means people were always happy. Muditaha, spito muditaha, always happy. Janapado Mahane, the land was of democracy. So Janapadaha. Janapado Mahan Janapadaha Nivishtaha Sarayu Tire Prabhuta Dhanadhanyavan. Dhanadhanya Prabhuta, there was plenty. Ayodhya Tasmin Rajye. In that Rajye, Ayodhya Nama Nagari Tatra Shiloka Vishrutaha. So it was a very famous city, Ayodhya. Manuna Manavendrena Yapuri Nirmita Swayam. Manu, he was Vivaswan, he was Surya Kula's Prathama Raja. So right from Surya, Prajapati to Surya, Surya to Manu. Manu Nam Swayam Nirmita. Like Dwaraka was constructed by Krishna himself with the help of Vishwakarma in one night. Likewise, Manuna Manavendrana Swayam, he just came and built this city. There, the city was so prosperous that there was nobody rich. It's called Vyathireka Visesham. So there was no one rich. There was no one strong person in Ayodhya. There were no one who would tell truth. Because everybody was rich, so there was no distinction between a poor and a pauper and a rich man. Everybody was strong, so there was no distinction between a weak and a strong person. Everybody, Ramo, Dharma, Vigrahavan, Dharmaha, Sadhu Satya Parakrama, always speaking the truth. Yatha Raja, Tata Praja. So like Dasaratha, like Ramaha, Dhvirna Abhibhashate. They don't know to speak two tongues, even though Lakshmana is the Amsa of Adisesha. So snake have two tongues, split tongue. But Rama and all others in Ikshvakukula, Raghuvamsa, Suryakula, they don't know to twist their tongue. So the land did not know what lies were. So there are nobody who would tell the truth because they didn't know the distinction between truth and lies. So sabhi sach hi bolte hain. So if sabhi sach bolte hain to wo asatya mane kya? कोई भी नहीं जानते असत्य. सो सर्वे नराश्च नार्यश्च धर्मशीला सुसंयता उदिता शीलवृत्ताभ्याम महर्षया इव अमलाः. Everywhere like saints, महर्षया इव अमलाः, no blemish. So everybody were perfect. So maybe utopia. It was once. That was Ramarajya. So then, how did Dasaratha rule? The next sarga concentrates on the way Dasaratha ruled. Dasaratha was a king who believed in democracy. So he always consulted with ministers. So there were 6 ministers, educated ministers, and then 7 to 8 rishis. Valmiki takes particular account to describe them. Who are they? Drishtihi Jayanto Vijayo Surashtraha Rashtravardhanaha Akhopaha Dharmapalascha Sumantraha. Sumantra was the elderly minister. So Akhopaha Dharmapalaha Sumantraha Drishtihi Jayantaha Vijayaha Surashtraha. 7 ministers. Drishtihi Jayanta Vijaya Surashtraha Rashtravardhanaha Akopaha Dharmapalaha Sumantraha. So he always consulted with them. So what did we say? We said Ramayana is the art of living. Dasaratha could have done everything on his own, but even to anoint Rama to be Yavvaraja. In Valmiki there is a distinction. Valmiki only characterized Rama as Yavvarajya, whereas other granthas, particularly in the southern land, Kamba tells him that he is going to be the Chakravarti. It is not the case. Moola kavya mein Valmiki kavya mein Ram to Yavvarajya hi hai. So Yavvarajya Pattabhishekam. That was supposed to happen in this spring month. So then he was assisted by 2 very able elderly priests. Vashishta Vamadevaha. Then he had a series of Priest. Vashishta Vamadevascha Jabali Ratakashyapa Katyayanaha Suyagno. Vashishto Vamadevaha Jabali Kashyapaha Suyagnaha Gautamaka Ityadi Rishayaha. So he was always surrounded by good people. So then he said, then he was worrying that he didn't have any progeny. So he was thinking, I'm getting old, I need to anoint somebody, but I didn't have any children, I didn't have progeny. So that's the only worry Dasaratha had. So there were no worries, no blemishes, nothing. He was getting old and he was saying that I need somebody to take care of this Ikshvaku Kula. So Vyasa says, Katvangaha, Raghu, Aja, Dasaratha. He gives 4 lineage. There are 40 people right from Sriman Narayana. Narayana's son was Brahma. Brahma's son was, Brahma is Brahma Prajapati. Brahma's son came by Vivaswan. Vivaswan is Suryan. Suryan's son came Manu. Likewise, the thing goes. Then Dilipa, Katvanga, Raghu, Ajan and Dasaratha. So he was worrying. Then what did he do? He convened the ministerial gathering, and then there came Sumantra. Then Sumantra said, Raja, don't worry, you don't have to worry, because I have heard Sanat Kumara's people, those 4 Sanat Kumara, Sanandana, Sanakadi rishis, telling that in Raghuvamsa, there will not be a place where there won't be any progeny. So, but you have to do some good deeds. So there again, it's just the yajna, Vishnuvai yajna. So yajna is just a vyajam. It's just a way, it's a sacrifice. All these yajnas and yagas are just a sacrifice to bring people together. If you bring people together, you have to feed, like this temple is feeding apparently today. So you feed people. When you feed people, people's stomach gets satisfied. Likewise, this Sumantra says, Rajan, let's start doing some yaga. So Dasaratha wants to do the yaga, which is considered to be a supreme yaga. And that supreme yaga is known as Ashwamedha, Ayamedha. Medha means yajnam, Ashwa and Aya are Pariyayapada. So as part of this Ashwamedha, so Puthrakama Ishti is not a separate yajna. It's as part of Ashwamedha, who will do an Ishti where we are going to Artham. We are going to ask for a blessing. So that's how he starts Ashwamedha. And when do you have to start Ashwamedha? It is a beautiful, if you look deeply into Ramayana, you will know all this. So it took 3 years, right from the get-go. What did I say? Ramayana is art of living. So the way Ashwamedha was planned, when you do Ashwamedha, it's basically a developmental project. In today's parlance, Ashwamedha involves a lot of infrastructure development. So Dasaratha was one of the pioneers doing a lot of brick and mortar infrastructure facilities. So in one spring day, Ashwamedha is given in the 7th Kanda, of Yajurveda, and also in the 3rd Ashtaka of Brahmana portion of Ashwamedha. So Ashwamedha should be done takes a year to do Ashwamedha, and it has to be started in the season of spring season, Chaitra Masa. It should be started in the month called Madhu. Only Goswami Tulsidas uses this. When we come to Rama Avatara, we'll compare and contrast Valmiki, Tulsi and Khamba. And if permits, we will talk about Maharashtra Ramayana as well. So, Madhuscha Madhavascha Vasantika Rutu Nabhascha Nabhayascha. So Veda says, Madhuscha Madhavascha Vasantika Rutu Madhu Chaitra. Our Vaishak Masto are the 2 important months which are known as Vasanta Rutu. So Vasanta Rutu mein Ashwamedha ka shuru karna chahiye. So Rama does it. So Rama was born in Chaitra because Vashishta, under the guidance of Vashishta and Rishyasringa, Dasaratha started the preambles towards Ashwamedha. Sangrahanyeshtya yajate imam janatagum sangrannaniti dvadasa masat samvatsarameva varundhe maunji bhavati urghvai munjah urjhameva varunde. Watch this. Chitra nakshatram bhavati. Veda brings reference. Chaitra Masuto in lunar calendar, when Chitra Nakshatra coincides with that full moon in lunar calendar, that is Chaitra, Chittirai. So Chitra Nakshatram Bhavati Chitram Va Etat Karma. If you have to do this Ashwamedha, it has to be done in the month, in the time when the Chitra Nakshatram is in constellation with the full moon. Chitra Nakshatram Bhavati Chitram Va Etat Karma Yad Ashwamedha Samurdhyai Sarvasyapyai Sarvasya Jityai Sarvameva Tena Apnoti Sarvan Jayati. So in the month of April, in the spring, Dasaratha starts preparation for Ashwamedha. So he takes 1 year. Valmiki accounts this. How important it is. See, look, so many maths. I told you in the prelude, there's so much math in this. From 8th Sarga to 18th Sarga. From 8th Sarga to 18th Sarga is all about Ashwamedha and Rama's Jananam. So 1 year, Dasaratha took time to make new roads, to make the Vatika, to make the Vedika one place and all this. Because why? Ashwamedha, it's like big congregation. The entire kings from north to south. There again Valmiki takes every pain to note what are all the kingdoms. He first invited the king of Angadesha, Romapada. Then he invites the king of Magadha. He invites the king of Kashi. Then he goes all the way to Dakshinadesa and makes sure, and Vashishta commands that you should not leave any king not invited. Bring them all. When the kings come, their family, their people, all come. So the Ayodhya has to be prepared, and then they make special efforts on the northern bank of Sarayu. Now Sarayu Uttare Tire. So on the northern banks they start. And that preparation takes 1 year. So this Valmiki recounts, right? So 11 sargas out of 14 sargas from 5 to 18, 11 sargas talk about Ashwamedha. So Punah Prapte Vasante tu Purnaha Samvatsaro Abhavatu. That is the thing. This sloka is hidden somewhere. But Valmiki makes Punah Prapte. So they started this in one spring. Then comes Punah Prapte. Vasante tu Purnaha Samvatsaro Abhavatu. Purnaha Samvatsaro Abhavatu. It took 1 year to construct the roads, to build new places, to build everything new. Punah Prapte Vasante tu Purnat Samvatsaro Bhavatu. Prasavartam Gato Yushtum Hayamedhena Vir. Prasavartam. Why did he do this Ashwamedha? To get progeny. Prasavartam Gato Yushtum Hayamedhena Viryavan. He wanted to do this Ashwamedha. So he took 1 year time. Then in that 1 year, they invite another rishi called Rishyasringa. Rishyasringa was the son of Vibhandaka Maharishi. So they were living in a kingdom called Anga, and that Anga Desa was ruled by a king called Romapada. Lata asked me to tell stories, so I want to tell this story. So Romapada was a very able king, friend of Dasaratha. He was so friendly to Dasaratha that he adopted a daughter. It was not some, there is recount that Shanta is the daughter of Dasaratha. Some say their relationship is like a daughter's relationship. So let's take that Dasaratha had a Jnati. So Jnati's daughter was Shanta. Romapada did not have any children. So Dasaratha helped Romapada to adopt Shanta. So that Shanta was married to this rishi called Rishyasringa, because very able rishi. He was called Urdharetas, like Narada, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara and Shuka Brahma. They can do anything they want. It was said that in Angadesa, when Rishyasringa kept his feet, Varshadharayati, the rain started pouring. It was such a famine in Angadesa, but Rishyasringa kept his feet. Varsh to itna pour kiya, to famine ka naam bhi nahi jante. So Rishyasringa was a capable person. So look at this. There were no ego. So step by step we are walking the art of living and management in Ramayana. So first thing was Dasaratha was ruling a Janapada Desa. based on democracy. He had able council of ministers and rishis. Then he consulted with them. Upon that consultation came this Ashwamedha Yajna's doing, and then as part of Ashwamedha Yajna, Puthrakama Ishti. Ishti means you do something on expectation. That is known as Ishti. Ishtam. So from the word root, dhatu, vitpakti, ishtha. So you want something, then you are doing something. That is known as Ishti. That's the difference between Yajna and Ishti. So they bring this rishi called Rishyasringa. Rishyasringa rishi and Vashishta, they don't butt their heads together. They work in close connection with each other. And Valmiki goes to such a pain to say, when Rishyasringa was brought into Dasaratha's palace, Vashishta made sure that it was Rishyasringa who was taking his first step and Vashishta was following him. Vashishta has been the Kulaguru for 40 different Ishwaku Raja, but he made sure that where respect has to be given respect. These are all certain nuances in Valmiki Ramayana. One has to imbibe. So Rishyasringa walks inside, and then they started doing this Puthrakama Ishti Yaga. There again, Rishyasringa says, I'm going to do this Puthrakama Ishti, Putra Kama Artham, in expectation of Putra. But Dasaratha wanted only one. In expectation of a Putra, I am doing this Ishti, Putra Kama Ishti. I will do this Putra Kama Ishti with the blessing of sage Vashishta using Atharva Veda. He makes a point to mention this because all these Kamartha Ishtis are based on Atharva Veda. Rama was Yajurveda. Because Vashishta belongs to Kaundanya Prajani, right? And in Kshatriyas will normally take and call themselves Gotras based on their guru's name. So basically Rama was Vashishta Gotra or Kaundanya Gotra. But Rishyasringa said he will perform this Puthrakama Ishti Yaga, Ishti, as part of Ashwamedha using Vidhivati Yata Atharva Vede, like what it has been told in Atharva Veda. So then, second thing, when this Ashwamedha was being conducted, Vashishta and Dasaratha makes it important that give ample food. Keep on giving. Not only you give ample food, but it has to be swadu. It has to be delicious. So dhatavyam annam. Imagine, these are the certain pearls in Valmiki Ramayanam. So it's not just Ramayana is some story, not a katha. It is a way of living. And Valmiki recounts, that's why he takes about 11 sargas or so to describe Ashwamedha Yajna. That is why you can't do Ashwamedha Yajna in Kali Yuga, because it has to pay attention to each and every particular item. Dhatavyam annam vidhivat satkritya nathulilaya. Don't take it lightly. Nathulilaya, don't take feeding people lightly. Dhatavyam annam vidhivat satkritya sarve varna yata pujam prapnuvanti susatkrita. So keep on giving people, don't just discriminate people. Then he says, bring people not only from north, bring people even from south. That is again based on Rigveda. Ano Bhadra Kratavo Yantu Vishwataha Krinvanto Vishwamaryam. Then the beauty comes, Veda. Aphagnanto Aranvaha. I curse people who are miser. Aranvaha means miser. So this much is Sanatana Dharma. The only pity is we don't understand the meaning. See, Veda says, Krinvanto Vishwam Aryam. I have to do good for the entire world. Aryam means Shreshtam. Vishwam, the entire world. Krinvantaha Kuru. Ano Bhadra Kratavantu. Krinvanto Vishwam Aryam. Then Veda in certain place curses people. If I see somebody is being a miser, it's easy to say, it's difficult to practice, but anyway, I'm just telling what it is there. Krinvanto Vishwamaryam Apagnanto Aranvaha. Aranvaha is Rishi Proktam. It is the word used by Rishi. Aranvaha means miser. Apagnanto, I'm going to curse. But Veda actually says that kill. Apagnantaha means to destroy. We don't want to use that one. So apagnanto aranvaha krinvanto vishwamaryam. So Vashishta imbibes this. This is the Rig Veda. Vashishta imbibes this and he says, Dakshinatyan narendrascha samasta anayanasvaha santi snigdhascha ye chanye rajanaha prithivitale. Santi snigdhascha. All our friends. Ayam ganana ayam neti iti laguchetasa udhara charitanam tu vasudha eva kud snigdhaha santi. There are friends everywhere. Santi snigdhascha yecha anya rajana prithivitale ata samvatsare purne tasmin papte turangama. So they started doing so. 1 year it took for the preparation. So then 1 year while they were doing this Ashwamedha, the horse was going yonder here and there. From north to south, were all the places it went Kashi, it went to Anga, then it brought Romapada. Every place this horse grows, all the Radhas were showing their subjugation to King Dasaratha. That is what Ashwamedha is for. Prosperity. Let us all unite under one Chatra. So let's not fight with each other. So let us all unite with each other. Kasi, Magadha, Anga, then Dakshina Desa. Then it says, Ata Samvatsare Purne Tasmin Prapte Turangama means Gudra. Horse. Ata Samvatsare Purne Tasmin Prapte Turangame Saravyaha Uttare Tire Rajnyaha Yajnyaha. So it came back with no barrier. So whole 1 year Dasaratha took to build this place. Then whole 1 year they have to wait in Vratha. Dasaratha and his 3 Pattamagishis have to wait in Vrata, expecting the horse to come back. So they will be on Vrata. Right? Varati iti Vrata. They are expecting something. So Varana. Varana means to expect something. Varati iti Vrata. So they were expecting something. So 2 years passed by. At the end of the 2nd year, actually, Rishyasringa performs the Ashwamedha Yajnam. Annam hi vivida swadu prasansati. I told you, not only you have to feed Bahuda annam bahu kurvita tadvratam. Upanishad said, annam bahu kurvita tadvratam. What is vratam? You have to make so much anna so that to keep on feeding people. Whom all Dasaratha wanted to feed? Valmiki's Ayodhya Kanda and Yuddha Kanda. There are about 645 sargas in Sri Ramayana. But in these 645 sargas, there are 7 khandas, because it is basically Vedaha Upabrahmana Arthaya. Which Veda you have to think? Because Rama was Yajurveda, he belongs to Yajurveda Shaka, so Yajurveda has Sapta Khanda. So there are 7 khandas. In that 7 khandas, there are 645 sargas. In that 645 sargas, Valmiki makes a point that those khandas which talk about dharma, they are given the maximum number of sarga. The dharma thing is basically Ravana Vadhartam. Okay. So Ravana Vadhartam eva Ramayanam asti. Okay. So the Yuddha Kanda has 128 sarga. Next to most important sarga, which we just simply omit, is Ayodhya Kanda. Ayodhya Kanda is where all the pearls to lead a good life are there. It has 119 sargas. So that is very important. So in the Balakanda, in these 11 sargas, where Valmiki talks about Ashwamedha, all these way of living are given. So he says, Vriddhascha vyaditascha striyo bhalastataivacha, whom all have to be taken care. See, it is Sanatana Dharma which gives this much particular respect to women. Right? Janani janma bhumischa swargat apigariyasi narochayan lakshmana swarnamayim lankam narochate lakshmana janani janma bhumischa swargat apigariyasi. This is Rama's word, Janani janma bhumischa. So Valmiki says, Vriddhascha vyaditascha striyah bhalastataivacha anisham bunjamananam na truptihi upalabhyate. So Dasaratha comes, when the yajna was going, Dasaratha goes walks in the Pakashala, in the dining room. He was not satisfied. They were feeding this much. Oh, keep feeding. So he was never getting tripti. Vriddhascha vyaditascha striyah bhalastataivacha anisham bhunjamananam na tripti upalabhyate vriddhascha. So he keeps Dhiyatam dhiyatam annam vasamsi vividhani. Beautiful sloka. Dhiyatam, please give, please give. He tells his servants, he tells his friends, Dhiyatam dhiyatam annam. Keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. Dhiyatam dhiyatam annam vasamsi. Vasamsi means clothes. Keep giving lot of clothes. Dhiyatam. So what does it mean? I said Ashwamedha gives lot of development projects. If you have to feed this many people, keep on giving. So you need to keep on cooking. If you need to keep on cooking, you need to have annam bahu kuruvita. Keep on planting more sasya. So this is the entire development project. Ashwamedha was done only by Chakravarti because it takes so much projects ongoing. Dhiyatam dhiyatam annam vasamsi vividani cha. That too different. Not only different, it has to be each one of a superior quality. Valmiki also dictates that, Dhiyatam dhiyatam annam vasamsi vividani cha iti sanchodita statra tata chakruhu anekashaha atra kutascha drishyante bhagavo parvatopama. What a metaphor. One time the Dasaratha comes and he saw a heap of rice. Parvatopama atra kutascha drishyante bhagavo parvatopama divase. It was not one time. Every day in that whole 2-year period, there were heaps and heaps of anna, different vividhani, swadu. Not only one was puliora, one was whatever it is, gulab jam, you name it. Okay. Atra kutascha drishyante bhagavo parvatopama divase tatra siddhayas vividat tada siddhi. Everything was perfect. Annam hi vividas swadu prashamsanti. Vashishta dictates annaha vividaha swadu. It has to be different varieties. So Ashwamedha second year comes to conclusion. Ishtim te aham karishyami. First ever sloka where Rishyasringa opens his mouth and says, I am doing it, Rajan. You will get phalam upalabhyate. You will get phalam. Ishtim te aham karishyami putriyam putrakaranat arthat atharva rishis atharva sirashi proktaihi mantraihi siddham vidanata yatha vidhi. Atharva rishi, that means the Brahmana bhagas of Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda's top portion, that means the Brahmana bhaga. Atharva shirasi proktaihi mantraihi siddham vidanata yatha vidhi. I will do. Once this was done, all the devas come to this place, to this altar, and they were waiting because they won't touch their feet in this ground. See, that's the difference. Rama is superior. Rama is superior to all. Agnenaya supataraye asman visvani deva vayunani vidvani yuyojhyasmad juhurana menah bhuishtante nama uktim upari nama uktim videma. So this Adhvaryu, this Yajushaka Pandit was saying, Agnenaya supata, ye Agni come, Agnenaya supata, supanta, give me a bright way. Agnenaya supata raye asman visvani deva vayunani vidwan. You are the great knowledge person. Agni pratamo devata. Agni avamo devata. Agni is the closest. Avamo means here, it's not lower. It's the closest deity for us. Because we see Agni, we have to live with Agni, Jatara Agni. There is Agni in our stomach that digests the food. There is Agni in the Deep. There is Agni in the Pakashala. So we witness Agni, Pratyaksha Devata, Avamo Devata. Agnenaya supataraye asman visvani deva vayunani vidwan yuyojhyasmad juhurana. Juhurana means wickedness. Hey Agni, like you always burn the wickedness in me. Juhuranam yenam means papam. Juhuranam yenah bhuyishta. I am going to pay my obeisance. Bhuyishtam upari dadami. I am giving more and more salutations. So these people were praying. There came all the devatas and they didn't want to touch their feet on the ground. Look at this. In a way, they have ego. So, but Ram wants to come to the land, and he came, and he will be coming shortly. So then all the devas came, Brahmaji came, but Tulsidas makes a twist here. He is the only one who tastes. Not only devas came, Dharati, the Dharti Mata also took the form of a cow, Gomata. Dharani darahi manadhira kahabiranchi haripada sumiru janata janaki pira Prabhu Banji Daruna Bhibati Doha. Tulsidas constructs Ramayana using 3 structures. Doha, then there are Chandas, और ब्रह्मा जी का छंदस है बालकांड में, ये सभी युवाओं they should keep this contestum, that chandas will recite that. Janata janaki peer, peer means feed. गुजराती में फीड है ना, वैष्णव जन तो क्या रे कहिए, जो फीड पर आहे जाने रे, नृसिंह मेहता, सो फीड, वही तो अवध में फीर. जानत जन की पीर, प्रभु 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 को मालूम है, ये जन का फीड, जन का दुख प्रभु को मालूम है. सो धरणी गोes as a cow and then she prays to Brahma. Brahma ji, please tell to the Lord Supreme Narayan here that Dharani. Then Brahma says, Dharani Dharahu, just bear. He is going to come in few minutes. So Dharani Dharahi Manadhir, keep faith, hope. Manadhir kaha Biranchi Haripada Samuru. You just pray to the feet of O Lord. Janata Janaki Pira Prabhu Banji Daruna Bibi Doha. So Doha, then Chandas, and the third one is Chaupai. So the Brahma comes, they stay on the upper portion of the altar, and then everybody were waiting to take their oblation. Sangachatvam samvo manam sijanatam deva bhagam yata purve sanjnanana upasate. So Rigveda says every devata will come, when you do some puja, they will stand in their respective place. Don't ask me which place, they know. So Sangachatvam, they all come in unison. Samvadatvam, they all talk the same tongue. Sangachatvam samvadatvam samvo manam sijanatam deva bhagam yata purve. They are all here to bless. That is the dictum given by Lord Narayan to every devata. He delegates these devatas to do good to the people. So they all came and then stood, and Brahma then says, wait, let me plead before Supreme Narayan. It's a beautiful chandas. Let's understand. Jaya Jaya Suranayaka Janasukadhayaka Pranatapala Bhagavanta Godvijahitakari Jaya Asurari Sindhu Suta Priyakanta. Beautiful Chaupai. Jaya Jaya Suranayaka Janasukadhayaka Pranatapala Bhagavanta. Pranatapala Bhagavanta, He Narayan. Godvijahitakari Jaya Asurari Sindhu Suta Priyak. Sindhu Suta Lakshmipati. Sindhu Suta Priyakanta. Palana Suradharani. ये धरती को पालन करो. Palana Suradharani. Adbhudakarani. Marama na janahi. तुम्हारा mystery nobody knows. Marama na janahi koi. जो सहज कृपाला दीन दयाला करवू अनुग्रह सोई. सबको अनुग्रह करो, ब्रह्मा का पुकार है. जो सहज कृपाला दीन दयाला करवू अनुग्रह सोई. जय जय अभिनाशी सभगट भासी. व्याप्ति, ये सो सबगट भासी. ब्यूटिफुल अवधि. सभगट भासी व्यापक परमानंद. अभिगत गोतीतम चरित पुनीतम. Your charitra is punitam. Pavamana suvarjana pavitreena vicharshani. 9th mandala of Rigveda is all about Pavamana. So, abhigata goditam charita punitam, but there is no maya. Maya rahita mukunda. Jaya jaya suranayaka janasukadhayaka pranatapala bhagavanta. What a beautiful Chaupani. So, Brahma says, and then Narayana comes. Tatratvam manusho bhutva pravurdham lokakantakam avadhyam deivatair vishnoho samare ragi. Then Narayana comes. Then he says, what do I do? There again you see the humility of Lord Narayana, who is the father of Brahma. He says, Tatratvam manusho bhutva. You take the form of Manushya. Devam manushya rupena tatratvam manusho bhutva pravurdham lokakantakam avadyam deivatair vishnoh avadyam deivatair vishnoh avadyam kim ravanam samare jahiravanam. Then Narayana says, bhayam tyajata bhadram vo itartham yudhiravanam saputra pautram samatyam samitra jnati bandhavaha. All your family will be free of worries. So you tell Dasaratha, I am going to be born in the clan of Raghu. Why? Because Veda says. Somewhere it is hidden in Veda. But Valmiki, we said that Ramayana is art of living. Ramayana is based on a solid foundation, footing of Veda. Pita putrena pitruman yoni yono. There is one shabda in Veda. Pita, supreme. Purnam brahma swayam iya vihaya ahiparyanka varyam gorakshatam varayadu kule vasudevo avatirna. Vasudevo avatirna ghorakshartam varayadukule vasudevo avatirna gopastrinam pratigriham adan gopadimbo vibhati. So this guy is supreme. He even will go to that low level to be one among these gopastris. Don't ask me that they are the good people, but I'm just telling Prasangat. So he even goes to a small hut. Gopastrinam pratigriham adan. He is playing in the mud floor of Gopi. Gopastrinam pratigriham adan Vasudevo Gopadimbo. Dimba means Balaka. Gopadimbo vibhati. So he comes, he says, Bhayam tyajata badram vo. Badram means Mangalam bhavatu. Badram vo hitartham yudhiravanam saputra pautram samatyam samitra jnati bandh. Samitra jnati. Jnati means relative. Mitra. So everybody will be good. Tataha, afterwards, Padma Palaksha Kritvatmanam Chaturvidam. He made himself, he transformed into 4 types. Chaturvidam Pitaram Rochayamasa. He himself chose his father. Pitaram Rochayamasa Tadha Dasaratham Nrupam. So he himself wanted to be born in the family of Pitaram Rochaya. Nobody, we cannot dictate whom we should be born into. We cannot dictate where we are born into, but only Supreme can do to. Pitaram Rochaya Masa. He himself wanted to be born as a son of Dasaratha. Tato Narayanaha Vishnuhu Niyuktaha Surasattamaihi Jannanapi Suranevam Slakshnam Vachanam Abradi. He himself knew this, what he wanted to do, and then he told this to these Devas, and then Devas prayed their obeisance, and then they went back. There came Agni, because we said Agnenaya Supataraye Asman. So Agni Deva came at the utterance and dictation of Brahma Prajapati. There came Avirbhutu, there came this angel. Tato vai ajamanasya pavaka dadu laprabham Praturbhutam Mahadbhutam Mahaviryam Mahabalam. Then they came a gigantic angel. Praturbhutam Mahabhutam Mahaviryam Mahabalam Subha Lakshanam Sampannam Divyabharana Bhushitam. Look at this. That's what these sages are of supreme knowledge. They take every account. It came with a white cloth. That too, Valmiki says. Subha Lakshana Sampannam Divyabharana Bhushitam Shaila Shringam Samutsedam Dripta Shardhula Vikram. It was like a power, like a Shardhula Vikram, like a tiger. So, Idam tu Nripa Shardhula. There is the start of Ramavatara. Idam tu nripashardhula payasam deva nirmitam. This is given by God. Deva nirmitam payasam. Prajakaram grihana tvam dhanyam arogya varnanam. For the sake of your progeny, Brahma Prajapati has given this to me. I am only Duda. Agni Duda, Agni Dagda, Agni Dagda. Veda also says Agni is a Duta. Aye Agni Dagdha, Agni Dagdha. Similarly, Idam tu nripashardhula payasam deva nirmitam. It is to the account of God. They have their own way. So deva nirmitam. Idam tu nripashardhula payasam deva nirmitam prajakaram grihana tvam dhanyam arogya vardhanam. There came twist. How does three kavyas take this in a different form? But everybody has their own bhava. Valmiki gives his own way. Tulsidas says this. He is a bhakti. Tulsidas ko Goswami ka to bhakti hi. So he says, this Agni Duta came, he gave the payasa, and then the Agni Duta says to Dasaratha, look, you ask Vashishta, and however he chooses to distribute, you distribute. That's only one line Tulsidas says, and he leaves it. Because he's Abheda Bhakti. So he didn't want to say how you have to distribute. While Valmiki is Adhikavya, he gives a math here. So, Kausalyayai narapatihi payasardam dado yada tada. So how Dasaratha distributed? Whereas Kamban says, okay, he took one portion. Kamban is the Tamil grade forward. He says he took one portion and gave it to Kausalya. He also makes a twist. Then he says the second portion he took and gave it to Kaikeyi. But Kaikeyi is not technically the second Pattamaharishi. He is the youngest of the Pattamaharishi. But Kamban uses the way Bharata was born. He was born next to Rama. Pushya Nakshatra mein, Dasami mein, he was born. So he says the next portion, Dasaratha gave it to Kaikeyi. Because he wants to leave the complication simple, no complication. But Valmiki is Adhikavya. He puts a math here. Then the third portion, whatever is third portion, he gave it to Sumitra, Kamban says. And something was left over, that also he took it and gave it to Sumitra. So simple. So these two people didn't want to complicate. Okay, Valmiki wrote, let people go and break their mind in Valmiki Ramayana. So what did Tulsidas say? Okay, Tulsidas said, oh Agni, that Agni Duta said, ye Dasaratha, ye Nripa, you ask your Kulaguru Vashishta, and in whichever way he chooses, you follow. Leave it. Whereas Kamban says the first portion, he doesn't say how big is the portion. The first portion, you give it to Kausalya. Kausalya janayat Ramam. Then the second portion, he gave it to Kaikeyi. The third portion, he gave it to Sumitra. Sumitra is the second in seniority. And then the something left over, he just scraped the part and gave it again to Sumitra. So the twins were born. Okay, but look at Valmiki. Kausalyayai narapati payasardham dadhau tada. Then tada payasardham, half the portion, that part, if it is 100 ml, 50 ml, ardhabagam, he gave it to Kausalya. Ardhardam dadau chapi Sumitrayai naradip ardhardapi. So half of half. He doesn't change the lineage of seniority here. Ardhardam. So half is already gone. Ardhardam, half of the half was remaining. That means 1/4. That 1/4 he takes. Oh, Dr. Parvatiyar is here. 1/4 he takes and then gives it to Sumitra. Ardhardam dadau chapi Sumitrayai naradipaha. So he did not bypass the seniority. Kaikeyi cha avishtardam. Then it was only quarter left. Half of 1/4 is what? 1/8. So avishtardam, half of 1/4 is 1/8. That 1/8 he gives it to the third Pattamahishi, Kaikeyi. Then what is left? 1/9. That 1/8 he just gives back to Sumitra. So that math Valmiki. But how did he give? That's where the beauty is. Kausalyayai narapatihi payasardam dadhau tada ardhardam dadhau chapi Sumitrayai naradipahi Kaikeyi cha vittardam dadhau putrartha karanat pradadau cha avishistardam payasam amrutopamam avistardam, left over. The 1/8 he gives it to Sumitra. So first he gives it to Kausalya, then he gives it to Sumitra, then he gives to Kaikeyi. So seniority. Then the leftover he goes back and gives to Sumitra. If that's the case, who consumed first? Kausalya. Who consumed second? Sumitra. Who consumed third? Kaikeyi. So how should the birth be? And where did Bharata come second? Doctors in the room, Ramalingam should know. So, right, how did that happen? You can be conceived at different time. Birth can happen at different time. So that also Valmiki says. You may be conceived earlier, but it is the time he chooses where one baby kid is born. So So even though Sumitra consumed the payasam and conceived second, when it comes to birth of Lakshmana, Bharata came before Lakshmana, because that's again God's doing. So that's where it is. Conceived timing was one, whereas birth time was different. So Rama was conceived first, he was born first. Lakshmana was conceived next to Rama, but Bharata was born to Kaikeyi before Lakshmana. So Bharata became Agraja, elder brother to Lakshmana. And Sugriva was conceived last, so he was born last. Evam tasam tadau raja bharyanam payasam pratak. Okay, so that is how the conception of Rama. Then it takes 1 year. What did I say? The whole episode is for 3 years. In these 14 sarga, 3-year story, Valmiki covers. That's also you should know. 1 year is preparation of Ashwamedha, one was Ashwamedha, end of Ashwamedha, all these conception things happen. And then, after 1 year, Tato yajne samapte tu rutunam shad samapyayuhu shad rutu. 6 rutus take 12 months. Each rutu is 2 months. So, this conception happened in one spring. So, the birth is going to happen in... So, only Rama stayed in the womb for 12 months, whereas Krishna is just 10 months. Rama wanted to be in the womb of Kausalya. That in Tamil, there is a great... Kulasekara Alvar sings, Mannu Pugal Kausalaitan Manivairuvaitavane Mannu Pugal Kausalaitan Manivairuvaitavane. Just for the tune. Manivairuvaitavane Tenilangai Kon Mudigal Sindhuvitai Simpon. So, the Kausalya's womb was so gifted that Rama didn't want to leave. So normally people stay 10 months, but he stayed 2 more months. So it took 1 year for Lord Rama to reside in that. Tatascha dvadashe mase, Rama is coming to this world, to HTL. Tatascha dvadashe mase, chaitre navamike titau, nakshatre aditi deivatyai, swa uchas samsteshu panchasu graheshu karkate, Lagne Vakpati Induvida Indunasah Prodhyamane Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam Tatascha Dvadashe Mase. 12 months afterwards, after 12 months, Tatascha Dvadashe Mase Chaitre Navamike Tito, in the month of Chitra, in the Navami Tithi, Dvadashe Mase, after 12 months, in the Chaitra Masa, in the Navami Tithi, Shukla Paksha Navami Tithi, Nakshatre Aditi Devatyai, Punarvasuhu Nakshatraka Adidevataha is Aditi, Vedas says. The Punarvaso Aditi Devata, for the Nakshatra of Punarvasu, the Devata is Aditi. So, Valmiki doesn't say the nakshatra, but he says he was born on the nakshatra whose devata is Aditi. Nakshatre Aditi Devatyai Swa Stansteshu Panchasu. All the 5 grihas were in the Ucha. What are the 5 grihas? Mesha, Meena, Makara, Karkata, Aur, Thula. Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, Species, and then Libra. Libra is Tula, right? In this zodiac, all these 5 Rasi were in the Ucha. And then both Jupiter and Moon were in constellation. That also he says, Graheshu Karkate Lagne, in the zodiac Cancer. Graheshu Karkate Lagne Vakpati. Vakpati means Guru, Jupiter. Vakpatau Indunasa. Indu means moon. So Vakpati. So look, why always we talk about Guna of Rama, we talk about valor of Rama, we talk about Saundarya of Rama, because Vakpati Jnana. And all these 5 Rasis are in the Ucha, that is for valor, which are Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, and Pisces. All these Thula, Mesha, Meena, Makara, Karkata, Thula, all these are in the upper position. So all are for valor. Then Vakpatihi, Jnana, Jupiter, our Hindu, Moon. Moon is for guna, saundarya. So all were in their constellation when he was born. Prodhyamane Jagannatham is the supreme God. Valmiki never says that he is God, but he is helpless. In some place, he opens it up that none other than Vishnu. Prodhyamane Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam. Rama comes. Kausalya Janayate Ramam Sarvalakshana Samyutam. There again, nobody can escape Rama's Saundarya. Kausalya Janayat Ramam Sarvaloka Samyutam. Then comes, he is none other than Lord Vishnu. Vishnor Ardham Mahabhagam Putram Aikshvakunandanam. Vishnu Ardham. It's not that half of Vishnu. Ardham means he is the mirror image, replica of Vishnu. There, Vishnu, how do you get this? How do you prove that Ardham means in Sanskrit literally it's half? No, it's not like that. He is the Hamsa of Lord Vishnu. How do you know that? Vaikuntetu, Parasara Maharshi gives us a clue. Vaikuntetu pareloke sriyat sardam jagatpatihi aste Vishnu achintya atma bhaktaihi. Bhagavata sa in Vishnu Puran mein wo deta hai shlok. Vishnu ho ardham sriyaha ardham. Ardham means in unison. So this Hamsa of Rama is none other than Vishnu. So we should take that one. So Vishnor-ardham mahabhagam putram aikshvakunandanam lohitaksham. Beautiful eyes. Lohitaksham mahabhagam. Beautiful lips, like rosy lips. That too Valmiki says. Mahabhagam raktaushtam. Rakta means red, purple. Raktaushtam dhundu biswanam. It's like Gandharvasvanam. So Rama came. So he just came like that. So why did he come? Abhunen Ripa Vibhudasaka. There is a Kavi called Bhatti Kavi. Beautiful Sanskrit 6th AD poetry. All these 14 sargas, what Valmiki cried and cried and cried, and we just saw Rama's avatar. Prokshamanam, Prodhyamanam, Jagannatham, Sarvaloka Namaskritam. He came. So Rama was already born, exactly 1 hour. Abhunen Ripo Vibhudasakaha Parantapa Srutanvito Dasaratha Ityudar Hritaha. There was a guy called Dasaratha. All these things I told for an hour. This Bhatti Kavi, it's very difficult to read Bhatti Kavya, 6th century Kavya. It is not meant for Rama's avatara or something. It was meant to enjoy the Vyakarana and poetic style. But he just finishes everything in one poem. Abhunen Ripo Vibhudasaka Parantapaha Srutanvito Dasharataha Ityudahritaha Gunaihi Varam Bhuvana Hitam Chalena. Why was Rama born? Gunaihi Varam, Shrestha. He is a Shrestha in Guna. Rama, Bhuvana Hitas Chalena, for the welfare of this world. Bhuvana Hitam, Hitakarananena, Chalena Yam. There again he says, Prodhyamanam Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam. Same thing he says, Sanatanaha Pitaram. He is the Sanatana, for whom there is no Adi, there is no Anta. Bhagavata also begins like that. Sanatanaha Pitaram Upagamati Swayam. So, Rama came, Swayam Sanatanaha Paramapurushaha came. Vaikunte, that Bhagavat, there is no other beautiful sloka. One would say, why these supreme people come to the earth? Tasam Avirabhut Chaurihi. Beautiful. रासक्रीड में आता है तासामाविरभूच्चौरिः स्मयमान मुकाम्बुजः पीताम्बरधर स्रग्वी साक्षात् मन्मथ तासाम दोप. He just came, Avirbhut. Those gopis were singing. Anganam, Anganam, Angane, Madhavam, 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 Chantare, Angana, Vittama, Kalpita. They were all dancing. Garba, I guess. One was holding somebody's hand. There was Krishna everywhere. Anganam, Angana means lady. Anganam, 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 mother. One lady, Krishna, one Krishna, lady. Suddenly he comes and falls. Anganam, Anganam, Angane, Madaram. Why? Because it is his Icha, Swartha Icha. It is for the well-being. Sanatanam Pitaram Upagadmati Swam Tasam Avirabhut. So he came. How can Krishna be everywhere? Because he can come. He is not like us. ये तो पृथ्वी से जुड़ा हुआ शरीर नहीं है, अप्राकृत शरीर है, वो सनातन है. So तासाम आविर्भूत चौरिः स्मयमान. Then he comes with smiling. Smayaman smita smita mukaravindam. Smita, he is smiling. Smita, we keep name for a girl to be Smita. Smita means smiling. Tasam avirabhut. Bhut, jump. So somewhere he came. Tasam avirabhut chaurihi smayamana mukambujaha pitam bharadharasragvi. Beautifully well ornamented. Pitavaso Jagannatha. Pitambaradharasragvi. How beautifully. Sakshat manmata manmata. So he came. So Narayana, we will finish with how Narayana Bhattatri says. Girvani arthamano dashamukha nidhanam kosaleshu rishyasringe. So Bhattikavi says he is the supreme Sanatanam avirbhut Dasaratha swayam. Same thing, Narayaniyam Bhattadri sings. Girvani arthamano dashamukha nidhanam koshaleshu rishyasringe putriyam ishtim ishtva dadushi dasharatha kshambhute payasagryam tat bhuktva tat purandri means ladies, queen. Tat bhuktva tat purandrishu api trishishu, three ladies. They took that payasa. Tat bhuktva tat purandrishu api trishishu samam jata garbhasu jato. They all took it in more or less same time. Ramastvam Lakshmanena Swayam. All are incarnation of Lord Supreme. Ramastvam Lakshmanena Swayam Atha Bharatena Pishatrugnamna. So the Lord Supreme incarnated as a Manushya in 4 forms. So Valmiki says it was in the afternoon. In the afternoon of Navami Tithi in Sukla Paksha in the Chaitra Masa, he came in Punarvasu Nakshatra. What is the purpose of Punarvasu? Veda says again, if you are born in Punarvasu, what does it say? So in Punarvasu, Viswasya Bhartri Jagatah Pratishta Punarvasu Avisha Vardhayanti Priyam Deva Namapyetu Pata. So if you are born in month of Punarvasu, don't ask me. I was born in Punarvasu, but I am not as superior as Rama. We are not Rama, I told you already. So Viswasya Bhartri. So if somebody is born with good moral character in the nakshatra of Punarvasu, Veda, Yajurveda says, Viswasya Bhartri, they will hold this world. Tell me if Rama did not do this. He held this world with dharma. Viswasya Bhartri Jagatah Pratishta. And they will be held for a long time. Yug yug mein Ram ka kathan to shravan hoga. Viswasya Bhartri Jagatah Pratishta Punarvasu Havisha Vardhayanti. They will keep on developing and growing. Navo navo bhavati jayamano na ketu rishasa medhyagre bhagan devebhyo vidadathyayan. Keep on growing. So Rama lived to the ek shabda of Yajurveda. Punarvasu havisha vardhayanti priyam deva namapyetu pata. So they will be loved by everybody. So that is Rama Avatara. So Rama is somebody who was born. Kausalya janayati Ramam Ikshvakukula Nandanam. Why did Rama come? Of all the things, leave alone killing Ravana. Leave alone saving Sita. He came to make us happy. That Tyagaraja, none other than Tyagaraja sings Raminchuva. We'll finish with a British note here. Raminchuva Revarura Ragutama Ninu Vina. Who else can make this world happy? Raminchuva Revarura Ragutama Ninu Vina Samadhi Shadguna Gana Sakala Bhuvana Janulala. Raminchuva Revarura Ragutama Ninu Vina Ramayane Sumarmamu. Even if you say the word Rama, it is Sumarmamu, so much mystery. I don't know. Ramayane Sumarmamu Ramayane Sarvamula Raminchuvaravara. Then even Devas cannot comprehend. Amara Varulagappano Sad Amara Varulagappano. Even the supreme Devas Sad Amara Varula Varuninchu Rama Ninna supreme power Ava Varunincha Ledaya. So that's what Tyagaraja says. Sad amara varula gappano Tyagaraja sannutara minjuvare varura raguttamani nuvina samadhi samadamadi shadguna gana sakala bhuvana janulalo raminjuvare varura. So Rama came into this world for dharmastapanartham. That's all there. But he came, see, crowd is full, nobody left. Maybe it is Ramakatha. I don't know. It's not because of my doing Ramakatha. So he enthralls us. Ramyate anena iti Rama. Iti Ramayana swadhu. So Rama says, Tyagaraja again says, Ramakatha Sudha. It is Amrit. Then Ramadas says, the Shivaji Maharaj Guru, Ni namam enta ruchira o Rama, Ni namamu emi ruchira o Rama, Ni namam enta ruchira. It's like a nectar. So Ramakatha is a Sudha. Mangalam Kosalendraya Magani Gunabdaye Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyatmanava Prakrite Subhavati Karomi Yadya Sakalam Parasmai Narayana Yeti Samarpayami Shubham.